Problems in the educational system. Geranda, you often say that everything is falling apart. Do you also mean the Greek system of education? Yes. Don't you see what is happening around us? Are these schools? What kind of Greek are they teaching? Our children. What kind of history? And what about theology? Can you explain to me what is happening to theology? We have atheists with theology degrees that teach religion. They are allowed to do that, but nobody bothers to check what they are actually teaching. Is he teaching theology or atheism? We cannot dismiss him, they say. Suppose that an English professor starts teaching mathematics. Would they allow that to happen? You have theologians who advise people not to receive Holy Communion because they might catch AIDS. They were probably admitted to the School of Theology by default, because the computer gave them an admission score. This kind of theology does not know God. In the old days they used to say, the child has learned the sacred letters, because education was then a sacred thing. Now you see a professor of theology who does not believe in God and insults the prophets in front of the students, and yet he is not dismissed. Can you tell me, my good man, what you are doing in a theology department? What kind of theologians will you prepare for graduation? This is the result of the influence of Protestants and Catholics. Catholicism is now full of the atheistic spirit. Catholics are even trying to cut out the saints. Saint Catherine, they claim, was not really that great. Her father was only a small and unimportant king. Saint Nicholas was not a major saint either. Saint George was actually a miracle person. The Archangel Michael does not exist. He is a manifestation of God. And so is the Archangel Gabriel. Pretty soon they will be claiming, Christ is not a God. He was only a great teacher. Then they will go even further. God is only a force. In the end, they will claim, God is nature. There are Orthodox today who go for this nonsense. Even though there is so much tangible evidence, so many prophets and prophecies, and so many living miracles. A man came to see me to receive a blessing to go to Italy for liturgical studies and write a dissertation. Are you in your right mind? I asked him. You want to do your dissertation with the Jesuits, and you are coming to me to get a blessing. Those people are clueless. The teachers, they're Jesuits, Uniates. I don't know what all. We must be very careful. This is what our young people do. They go to England, France, and other countries to study. They catch all kinds of European viruses and write dissertations. They study the Greek fathers in translation from translations prepared by foreigners. Sometimes the translators, either because they could not correctly render the meanings and nuances, or because they had made a calculated decision not to, added their own erroneous notions. Our own Orthodox scholars who have learned foreign languages and studied abroad catch these foreign viruses, these erroneous notions, and then bring them back here when they return, and even go on to teach them. Of course, if one is careful, it is easy to separate the gold from the amber. Geranda. Young people who are close to the church but have to go abroad to study because they were not admitted to our universities often lose their faith and stray from the right path. I will urge individuals that I know in higher education to establish a few more universities in Greece, so that our children will not have to go abroad to study. They should study here. In this way, No children will remain abroad, nor will their parents have to spend a lot of money, and the country will save on currency. I always say to young people who are going abroad to study, go if you want to, but be careful not to lose your faith. Take only their expertise. And most importantly, don't forget to come home to our homeland. Greece is waiting for you. You owe her your help. Stay close to the Greek people. Help all those poor souls who would otherwise have gone overseas to find a doctor or a specialist. Be careful not to let your hearts grow cold. The Europeans are cold people, and the United States is only for becoming wealthy in material goods and becoming spiritually bankrupt. And the strikes, Gironda, they cause so much harm. Students have been out of school for a month now and hang out on the streets. I tell the teachers that I know to go on strike only if someone wants to abolish, for example, the study of religion or prayer in school, or to remove the cross from the Greek flag, and so forth. Then it is absolutely necessary that they protest. Otherwise, why should our poor children pay by missing so many days of school? In other words, Gironda, the educational system has evolved in a way that will cause great harm to our youth. It's true that many young people will be harmed, but the good Lord will judge accordingly. He will look into the situation and determine how these young people would have fared if they had not been so harmfully influenced or indeed been done such harm. However, it is we who must pray fervently for the poor children so that God will intervene and keep them from harm, and grant them spiritual health so that they will acquire virtues.